one of the most exciting maps at the moment.
I'd actually have to agree with you. I wouldn't have agreed with you like 6-8 months ago, but now I do like some border gameplay on occasion, I have to say.
Hell yeah. Ying banned away from OXG right away. Coming into this matchup, you couldn't really have different expectations of these two teams. We'll talk about it a little bit as the operator bans continue to roll on. Oxygen taking their time with their second ban. They'll decide to get rid of Dokkaebi. Why not?
Okay, so Ying is the most banned attacker in the NAL. Dokkaebi is third, right after Nuke actually, so pretty stable bans coming on through. For the defending side, the Mira, the Valkyrie, the Solis, the Asami, all very stable operators, either played or banned with a very high frequency at that. Asami, of course, being removed from play by OXG, and the final operator ban from Mirage will be... Solis.
Solis. Say goodbye. Goodbye, Solis.
So both...
Did you say goodbye to Solis?
I didn't say goodbye, because you know what? She'll be back again.
Unbelievable.
And we shall welcome her with open arms.
Well, these two teams enter in very different position. As of 15 minutes ago, OXG was in first overall, but M80 has catapulted over top of them with their victory against Sonics in the matchup that just transpired. Oxygen then sit in second place, a single point back. They have a +9 round differential on the side of OXG, sitting at 3 regulation wins and a single regulation loss, which was a 7-5 victory for Parabellum over OXG, which I think is one of the more shocking results that I think we've seen so far in the North American League. For Mirage, Nick, it's a very different story. They've played 3 games. They are at a -10 round differential with but a single point to their name, which was a 7-8 loss to Space Station, but it was done in overtime, so they get a single point. A 2-7 loss to Dark Zero and a 3-7 loss to M80.
10 seconds left.
The exception of that SSG game, which at the time was SSG's streak of making it to overtime in every single match they played.
Yeah.
Mirage are good for a couple rounds, and that's about it. They are one of the 3 brand new rosters in the league, up there with Parabellum and Beast Coast, and obviously they're going to have some growing pains. Meanwhile, OXG only made a single roster move, which was getting Yaga back on the squad after dropping Vertical.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it. When I saw Rampy's player cam, I was like, Space Station aren't playing right now. And it's just one of those, like, it's gonna take a second to get used to it as a fan, as a spectator, as a caster, with those, like, very long stable rosters playing for the same org now being different. Also, you said that upset that PB beat OXG. When I was doing prep work this morning, I was like, I actually put the score for like OXG beating Parabellum. I had to do a double take, but like actually I'm wrong. It was OXG losing to Parabellum. Fox, one of the best and highest pay grade operators on the players on the Brava rather. OXG really favoring the utility game, but also shut down upon their opponents. And Dream is the star player, so to speak, for OXG, and Jesse kind of spoke about it. This man is putting up numbers, not just for the supportive side, but in the frag department as well. He's had a phenomenal start to the stage so far, and he's an ace, looking to get aggressive and looking for those kills once again.
It's a very well-known operator. Dream running ace quite regularly and dropping double digits in the very first match that OXG was in to start off the NA League, for those of you that will recall. Way back to last week. Literally starting it off, they won against Beast Coast 7-3, and Dream went absolutely ham. This was the man that you said, in terms of mechanical ability, a great player. It was Newers watching along as he gets droned into detention towards jail. They had a read on somebody over towards customs, but nothing to be found. Bomb site, ventilation, and workshop, so not too far away from where Newers currently stands. You get a couple red marks that have now faded. While he's on that main floor, hunting towards the bomb site, you've got Sweater pushing in a similar spot, taking some damage from the Valkyrie of Yeti. You've also got some players from OXG. Oh, Yeti re-engages and wins that one. Sweater's not used to losing that. Yaga's down to Rampy too. It's a full court press as Mirage picks up 2 kills with a minute to go.
Honestly, it seemed like Mirage could just like aggress all over OXG. It's working well for them so far. They got the numbers, but...
It's the man of the hour. Dream himself, the first player from OXG to get on that board. Fox was taken out as well. Newers pummeling DP Fire, and he manages to actually get away before they can do anything towards the main stairs. Kansan slaughtered from Dream. Suddenly OXG have made this infinitely more competitive.
Wait, they can just plant here. The hatch is closed.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. Diffuser in the very capable hands of Dreams. On the floor opened up. Newers is there. Can he stop it in its tracks? Yes. Also getting out of that position. Surf will make an awful lot of noise. The Kaid will try to get back in, doing a ton of damage, but ultimately losing it to Newers. Rampy, who was one of the first players to get on the board in this matchup, spotted as he drops from Metal. He sees the workshop door, now heading over towards server door, but nobody from OXG wants to engage him in this position. Rampy has an opening, and he gets picked off by Newers. Call them the Dream Team, and I'm not just talking about the two of them, but all of OXG. 5 kills between Newers and Dream with Diffuser down is enough to stop Mirage from winning a round that looked like it was theirs.
That is an absolute disgusting display of a difference in just sheer mechanical skill and 1v1 capability from Newers and Dream in that 2 versus 5. I mean, they had no business getting to the bomb site, planting it, and let alone winning that 2 versus 3. But also, Mirage, they're allowing for a couple of gaps to be exploited, right? The Archives hatch not opened up for some reason, allows OXG to plant once again to the bomb site. And Mirage, you know, they got the lead by swinging 1 versus 1 and winning gunfights, and they lost the lead in the exact same way, allowing OXG to pick them off one by one. But Dream and Newers, without any real drone information, made really good decisions on how to isolate those members. Newers would initiate and hit a nice flick, then he would play the baiting game, where Dream backstabs from behind and it opened things up for them. Mirage, I was going to say before things get really hectic, they might be able to match OXG on a sheer like aggression, you know, straight up like bloodbath fighting level. They got DP Fire, Surf, Yeti, Kansan, and Rampy. Like they can, with certainty, fight back and put up numbers. But when it comes to team play, the coordination, the synergy, I think that is where OXG is just going to be miles ahead due to the nature of them being a stable team of the same players, that being OXG, and Mirage, of course, being a completely new thing being put together very recently.
This is the one tweet that they said after that very first match or two. It was something like, why would you drop Yaga? Just why would you do it? And it seems like he is just fitting right back into OXG where he left off. Undeniably, one of the best players on that old OXG roster before he and Kino sought, I don't want to say greener pastures because it's hard to get more green than the OXG logo, but greener pastures over in what was XSET at the time, now is known as M80 as there was a changing of the org. Yaga either unhappy with M80 or M80 unhappy with Yaga. Either way, fitting right back into this OXG team, and they're obviously very happy with that change. DP Fire taking a lot of damage as we start things off now in round number 2. 2 minutes to go. Grenades going through the doorway, getting dropped in towards Office, a very common spot with the mirror window facing that triple panel inside of Office, but nobody is actively holding it. So OXG have full control of that side of the map should they choose to do anything with it. We also see our first IQ pick in the hands of Sweater.
Yeah. Not a commonly played operator, but I mean, if you want to shut down information because Valkyrie is on the board, it makes a lot of sense. Also, if the pulse is to be picked up by Mirage, also a good counter at that. But seeing as it's just a Valkyrie, that allows the IQ to just find the cameras and be an active gun, so they can do just that. C4 went out, did a little bit of damage, but nothing really deciding. But defining, rather. DP
Fire taken down. Oh, Kansan missing an opportunity. He has information as to where they might be going. Kansan doesn't usually miss those shots. I'm sure he's not particularly happy with that one. He decides to peek Sweater and he dies. DP Fire's been recovered. Mirage looked like they were going to give up the first pick. Then they didn't. Then they actually did, but this time it's to Kansan. There's a Frost on the board. So OXG, who will almost certainly have 1 or 2 players vault in through a window, well, they got to look down because we've already seen one of those Frost mats take out an attacker so far today. Yeah. Likely that they will be added to that tally.
Foxy on the Oza here, get down that Talon shield and start making that plant pressure, and that's what he's going to be looking to doing. But the Breeze, a little bit scuffed, has to vault on in, can't quite get it done. DP Fire swings out aggressively with a nice skill to Dream.
I don't know if they were aware on OXG's side that they'd gotten the down, but leaving DP Fire to live does not work out well for them. Yaga finishes what was started earlier on. Diffuse going down from Fox A, but he bails out of that position. There's a Frost down below. Now it's Surf's time to die. He's still bleeding out, but can't really do too much as that Diffuser does go down. Yeti inside a fountain. He's in a tough spot. Swings a nice shot on the Newers. Yeti's been hitting his shots so far today. We need a good display of that if he wants to do more. But Fox A pops up from behind that Talon shield. Surf has been retrieved as well, but that cost Rampy a lot of time going to get him. And now Mirage will need to retake the bomb site An unfavorable spot for them to be in. Foxay has not moved a muscle. It's another kill from Sweater. And as Rampy makes a ton of noise, there's going to be 2 sets of eyes looking at him. Good enough to take down Foxay, pulling out the secondary shotgun. But right now, with the clock where it is, time is the enemy for Rampy. Doing a do-si-do around the shield. Yaga secures the final kill, and OXG go up 2-0.
And this seems to be a big trend for the best performing teams in the NAL. It's teams that can do both the aggressive entering and the structured team play and get that plant down. And it's why we always talk about how the current meta is you have 1 dedicated support player and then 4 relatively aggressive, capable entry / flex players, because you need to just be thriving in gunfights right now in the current meta of Siege, because that's what everyone's playing around. We had the utility meta, we had a glass meta, we had a Ying meta back in the day. Right now, we are in the era of mechanical skill and gunfights, and it's why we see these teams succeeding at what they do. OXG leading the charge in most plans for the entirety of NAL so far, and adding 2 more to the tally in the first 2 rounds right here against Mirage, and they have some of the best players in the league individually as well. The one thing that they have that's a bit different, Foxay is almost a full-on support player as well, doing droning for the vast majority of the round, or playing those important flex operators like the Osa, who just has to stay alive and get down that diffuser. And with that 2-0, it's actually forced Mirage to take a tactical timeout to turn this boat into a better water. I was going to say turn that boat around, but I remember that you gave me some not nice words for it last time.
Well, I mean, they do need to turn the boat around.
They do.
That's actually accurate. Right now, the direction that Mirage's ship is going in is towards the shoreline at a rate that they're probably uncomfortable with, and if they don't stop it, it will run aground, and then you know what happens when a ship runs aground. It likely sinks. Depends, of course, on the speed at which the ship runs aground. Either way, round number 1 for Mirage looked almost certainly theirs. They must have had confidence going in, and you know from your time playing, when you're in a 5v2, you think, okay, we got this one in the bag. And then everybody takes engagements that they shouldn't be taking, and suddenly...
Sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you don't win those rounds.
That's actually the worst way to lose around in Siege is it's those like 5v2s, 4v2s where it is a guarantee. It is such an easy. You've done all the hard work already, and then you lose. Like you lack a little bit of discipline. You make the wrong choice once or twice. Maybe your team could. We've seen that happen as well. And it's one of those you gotta mentally come back from and say, guys, like, don't worry about it. On paper, we won that round, even though we didn't get it on the round score. It's fine, whatever. Like, forget about it. But it's not easy to let go of those. That comes with experience and time, of course. Mirage, despite being a new roster, they have very experienced players, all very capable. I mean, Randy, a world champion himself, has done great things already in this game.
Going to be attacking this armory portion of the bomb site, or map rather now, as if it were the bomb site. It's not. It's back downstairs to ventilation and workshop.
Foxay.
Which again was the round that should have been won out. Going all the way back to our very first match. Again, involved OXG and Beast Coast. It was a 7-3 victory for Oxygen on border. And that was when we saw a good display of Brava from Foxay running that new Brazilian operator on it yet again.
Has to be, I mean, target events are going to start coming out soon. If you keep playing the sim operators, like that's your pocket pick that you always bring out, then Foxy could start getting target banned. You see that time and time again. You can't stay on the sim operator for too long. Sweater getting aggressive on the Thatcher, has used his EMPs already. He's now roaming in a free gun. Can just take these fights with comfort. He doesn't have to worry about dying now any longer.
Mute Jammer will stop one of the drones from going through the doorway, though. If you do hop it over the Mute Jammer and angle the drone a certain way, you can bypass it entirely. Yeti is essentially babysitting that Mute Jammer and hoping that somebody with a bit of reckless abandon will decide to push him. But everybody on OXG values their life a little bit too much for that one. Sad Yeti noises playing in the background. He's managed to get away with his life intact. Changing mags. Forfeiting some of that control. Not too far off. Yeti now pivoting and looking towards that supply room.
Well, it's alive still a minute to go, and I mean, OXG, they're looking to make the first move. They're near the bomb site, I mean, so close to it, and I don't think Mirage truly knows this.
They're closing in. Oh, sorry, Dream just walks on in. Okay, Mirage get 2 relatively free picks. Foxay goes down as well. DP Fire will also join in on the action in the afterlife. Rampy falls. as they're tussling towards this workshop door. What a messy round this is. Deagle out from Yeti. Cannot duel with Newers too well. Newers dies. Yaga drops and Kansan finishes the deal. What was OXG thinking there?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I thought it was going to be a B, ventilation-oriented execute, walk in, try and get the diffuser down, but instead, they walk into server, the A-bomb side, and it's just it's a complete slaughter. They don't have drone information. They don't know where the whereabouts are from the defending team. They get shut down immediately, and sure, it came down to a 3v3 or a 3v2. It was relatively close, but it wasn't a clean execute at all. OXG didn't have numbers advantage, didn't have time, and didn't have information. Mirage did a really good job at simply just not really doing anything in that round, waiting for the attackers to come to them, instead of aggressively swinging out like they did in the previous round, losing out on the advantageous position. So the tactical timeout taken just after that last round might have paid off. A much calmer Mirage, utilizing the clock against OXG, winning their first round on that ventilation bomb side. There's a dynamic map, right? You play the downstairs bomb side, you extend up above, that's what they did. But when you win a bomb site, it gets locked for the following 2 rounds. That same philosophy cannot be applied as easily on Armory due to the nature of the site. The very long lines of sight up top floor is much harder to fight against as a defending team without the 1.5 zoom scopes, and of course with the nature of fighting against grenades and flashbangs and drones, etc. I like that they're bringing more utility now from Mirage. The mirror windows, the yokai drones, the Valkyrie cameras, they're heavily prioritizing information. Mirror windows, sure, you can see them as a quote-unquote deployable shield, but a mirror window is also, in a way, information. You get a visual representation of what's in front of you. You know if it's clear, there's an enemy there.
Okay. Rampy, a nice shot on the sweater. OXG, 2 rounds in a row where they have entered in a way that does not set them up for success. Mirage leading the way in terms of these opening duels. Things do get messy, though, and you see teams trade back and forth. After Sweater died early, now Yaga sustaining some damage. Foxay getting beat up as well. Did OXG's drones break? I'm not entirely sure why. They're just walking in. Not aware.
Going too fast.
I don't know, yeah.
I mean, well, that's the thing. If you're not cautious about the spawn peaks, the round can be over very quickly. Also, sometimes it's a matter of respect, right? Respecting your opponents enough to take that extra 5 seconds to drone the doorways, the windows that are on the exit points of the building before just walking on in. Foxy again spending so much time on drones trying to find some value. Actually finds a yokai with the Brava. Now this is a fun interaction that we see sometimes. Might have been shot already, unfortunately, I think.
One misconception about that Brava drone, by the way, the Kludge, is that you need to keep looking at what you're hacking. That is not the case. You can shoot it, and as long as you stay within a range of that gadget, you don't need to look at it. The drone just needs to be close enough to take control or potentially break whatever it is, because some gadgets break when you take control of them.
Yeah, that is correct.
Would have loved to have seen that yokai drone be piloted by the defense, but not the case, not to be had.
We'll see some interaction at some point, I'm sure. And Mossy captures a Brava drone, they can capture stuff, and it can get really tricky all of a sudden, back and forth with Mossy and Brava.
This is an attacker-sided map through the 4 plays that we've seen in the NAL. We started the broadcast by talking about how this is the most played map right now, tied with Oregon. Every team seems to like to go to border. A coin flip map pretty close too. Attackers, though, just wandering into their own death. Now it's Newers to engage, not realizing that Kansan's in that position. Kansan doesn't even take a single point of damage. 2 uncontested kills from Mirage up to this point with 40 seconds left.
Foxay looking for something, but again, the mirror windows are a problem. The fountain position. No things they can toss, no flashbang smokes or grenades. So DB5 in a really great position here inside a fountain. He has no crossfires, just to fight alone.
Oh, and Mirage just continue their rampage. Now goes the Nitro Cell. Dream somehow survives. He gets hit by an impact as well. Could have been an explosive finish. A flawless round, still very much in the clutches of Mirage. Not anymore. Dream takes out Yeti. It's an impactless exit kill as Mirage now stitching 2 rounds together. Let's tie the game.
I have to praise Mirage. after that second round tactical timeout, they have completely changed how they're playing their rounds. They went from overly aggressive to, you can almost argue, overly passive, but they're not overly passive because they're not giving OXG map control. They're just simply not doing anything that is unnecessary when it comes to aggression. They're only taking fights they have to take. They're letting them burn through utility first. They're not taking any fights until they burn down the mirror windows, destroy the Yokai drones, find the black eye cameras from the Valkyrie, etc. Then they strike when they have to. And because of that, they burn down the clock, which pressures OXG. They kill all their drones throughout the round, which makes them question where are the defenders actually playing. And they also just keep finding these isolated targets from OXG and then win the individual gunfight. So they're really hitting all the boxes right now. And I'm not surprised to see the exact same optimal lineup with Ixion Kite, of course, to be brought out again. If it's working, keep doing it, because right now it's up to OXG to make an adaptation to figure out why things aren't working for them. And if they keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result, that's probably not going to work. Now, Tiger Repick is in play right now. Dream going from Ace onto the OSA instead. And then, of course, Sweater has to respect the information, has to go back on the IQ because the Yokais and the Valkyrie cameras are active on the board. It's a problem for them. They're gonna take this operator purely to try and shut it down.
EDD mounted. Let them
Capkin pick is very smart as well. If you're wondering about whether OXG are going to hit the gas yet again, try to get in quickly. They're certainly bringing the tools to do that. There's one thing that will be glaringly obvious about this OXG lineup for anybody watching. There's no hard breach. Not even a secondary hard breach. They're just going straight for pugilism, straight for fisticuffs. That's it. It's going to be a bare-knuckle brawl between these teams.
And when you're against the mirror, that's when things get kind of dicey, because there is no way to get rid of the mirror window positions now besides grenades, which sure, you have 2 sets of, but you might not need it because you can just plant in the first 50 seconds. Hello, Dream? 4? It's huge.
That's totally necessary for dealing with OXG strategy. They gambled all in on the OSA. Getting the shield down and getting the diffuser planted was all for naught. And now if you're OXG, you need to pivot. Mirage are hitting their shots so huge. Yaga gets the trade-off onto Rampy, but not before Fox Ace put in the ground.
cover me.
Damn. I mean, that's OXG's entire kind of sneak strat that they had. Didn't pan out at all. Foxy did hack one Yokai drone, so a bit of information they do have in their pocket, but they can't move it around no longer, I don't believe. I mean, he's gonna be stuck in one area of the map. Sweater now and OXG, they gotta reposition, re-drone everything and figure out what are the next steps going to be. Diffusers in the bomb site, that they know, but they can't get the plant down. Osa is dead. They have a little bit of work control, but that's only Yogg upstairs with no real help. Yeti's in the corner. Could be an easy one for him.
Mirage doesn't need to wait. Yaga goes down, yet he doesn't even get in on the action. It's Surf to take that kill. OXG struggling quite hard. OXG losing to Parabellum. It was a head-scratching result, but now the #1 team heading into today lost it to M80 after M80 won their match earlier, struggling against Mirage. OXG can beat the best, but then struggles against the lower tier teams, it seems like, right now, as the 2 bottom teams are in excellent shape. One with a victory over OXG, the other
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
setting up quite well. And it's Oxygen on the favorable side through these 4 plays as well, Nick.
Yeah. There's the second Yokai. Looking for a way down. There is a hatch, of course. You can drop on in. Whoop.
Getting back into the bomb site. 20 seconds left. Sweater and OXG with diffuser, case control in the hands of Sweater, but you have to hope that your shots are good enough. Only 1 player from Mirage has been buried so far. There's the Yokai drone getting into play, but Sweater shoots it out, leaving everything up to Newers, but he's not able to do it. DP Fire stops the diffuser from going down, and then the final kill for Yeti. Mirage. Well, this is a surprising result, isn't it?
No, it is. And I mean, this is what one single week can really change. And the reason why it can be such a drastic difference is simply because of how new some of these rosters are. A full week of practice plus 2 pro games, or 2 to 3 games in a single week of pro play under your belt, that can make such a big difference. And honestly, Mirage putting up 3 rounds to Oxygen's 2, forcing OXG's tactical time on the final attacking round from their side is very impressive. And Border, It is an attacker-favorite map. It's where most teams, they want to start, that they want to be on. And sure, you got the Ying ban, the Dokkaebi ban that is making the attacks a little bit more difficult. I'd argue that the Asami and Solis ban is not going to hurt the defense as much as Dokkaebi Ying will do on the attack. But still, I don't think this is an operator-based outcome. I simply think Mirage has done a great job at adapting to how OXG is approaching the game, and then OXG failing to really come back into it and make their own adaptation to counter it back. One team keeps changing things up, and one keeps doing the same. And funny enough, it's a team who's changing things that's finding more success. With that tactical timeout, though, I expect that to be different now for OXG in their final attack. But then, of course, things they change around. After the 6th round, the side swap, and that's when the real strategy comes into play, as Mirage have to show us how well they can attack on border, and they'll need to do so successfully to actually win this match.
If you break down the numbers on this map, again, the most played, time per second most played. So we actually have some information for you. Because it is still so early, despite the fact that 14 matches have been played prior to today, 2 being added to that tally so far. We're not even halfway through the show today, so I hope you're enjoying what you're watching. The fact that Border's been played 4 times allows us to start to gain information. It's still a pretty small sample size because a couple operator bans or one team being really proficient on attack versus defense can completely skew the results. But there's only 3 bomb sites that have been played on Border. That is unsurprising. Archives and Armory, Ventilation Workshop, and Tellers and Bathroom in that particular order of preference. Not the case here, though. Ventilation and Workshop heavily favored at this point by Mirage. They lost it in that first round, a round that in theory looked very good for Mirage until they took a series of 1-to-1-to-1 engagements, lost all of them, and allowed OXG back into the round, and then they won in the post plant. But none of these bomb sites have a favorable win rate for the defenders. None of them do.
None of them. That's okay.
Every bomb site right now is attacker favored based on the 4 plays of Border. You would not think that from what we're looking at right now. And even the operator bans. Ying and a Dokkaebi being banned out doesn't really make me believe, okay, this is a defender-sided map, especially with Azami and Solis banned out, for crying out loud.
Yeah. One thing to note is that there are 3 sets of frag grenades from OXG, the Nuke, Ayana, and the Sledge. And Kanson's picked up the Rook, which the sole purpose of the operator is that you don't die to grenades, you only get injured, plus you get more base health. They also find the opening kill onto Nura, so one set of grenades is gone, and that lethal injured player of Nura's is dead. He can watch drones and try and lead his team, but he can't get any kills in this round.
You've now got a Nook to solo entry against this Vent Workshop hold up above. I wonder if this changes the strategy for OXG. Do you still have the Nook go up and engage head on? Or do you maybe wait and keep Sweater on more of a lurk role and hope that the rest of the team get into the bomb site? The problem with this is that in terms of actual killing potential, Foxay, who's going to be your flex player to kind of crack things open, hasn't been that great today. And you cannot rely on him on gunfights based on these first 5 rounds. Now it's Dream, somebody who has been quite good for OXG, just walks right in to his demise. Sweater on that lurk roll will have to do more as Foxay dies as well. Sweater gets shut down from DP fire. Mirage in firm control of this first half. All they need to do is find Yaga, and it's Mirage sending the first half away 4-2. A result that, based on where they've been up to this point, probably not what a lot of people expected.
No, and I mean, look at the discipline. They all fell back downstairs, not giving Yogg any 1v1s upstairs because they recognize he can't do anything from above. He doesn't have the diffuser. He has to come to the bomb site again. Let him roam around. It doesn't matter. Great read and discipline from Mirage again and again. Poor Yogg.
I mean, Yogg is trying his best, but at this point, you're probably going to get an exit kill or 2. The likelihood of you dropping a hatch right into this hornet's nest and getting more than 1 or 2 kills, very, very limited. DP Fire ensures it's not even 1. First half, Mirage, 4-2.
And that also means 4 rounds in a row since the tactical timeout taken after round number 2. So whatever happened in that talk, in that 45 to 60 seconds, really shifted things around for them for the better. And OXG, despite taking that timeout in, before that final and 6th round from the first half, nothing really changed for them. They didn't find any more success than previously. And a bit of a puzzling last few attacking rounds where they seemed a little bit lost, to be honest with you. Now, of course, things change as the sides they swap around. Could just be a defender side at border. We'll have to see how OXG can thrive on the side swap. And if Mirage can attack as well as they defend it, Tellers will be the starting point for OXG. They're going to roam up above and extend as they typically do. Open up that soft wall to east stairs, apply some pressure. No mirror for them, but they got something cooking up. They got the Maestro, Dream, one of the few players in Tier 1 level of play right now who commonly will play the Maestro operator. It's an operator that doesn't see that frequent play unless you're OXG. But they have great success with it. Deny the drones, great information, verticality, plant, and of course the 80 bullets.
10 seconds to go.
A beauty to have in gunfights.
A fire hose of munition, some could even say. Oh,
Certainly.
you're going to get one of those frost mats, by the way, you vault in. You just simply are not going to get both. That's the office window vault in, so a very crucial part of the map as well, because the hatch has already been opened up for you over top of this bathroom teller's bomb site. First half, by the way, saw OXG only getting a single first blood. They were involved in a trade, and then Mirage got 4 first bloods. And one of those was in the very first round, a round that, again, probably should have been a Mirage victory. Ultimately was not. I know that some people get a little bit unhappy when we're like, well, it shouldn't be probably they win it. And it goes back to the whole thing where I said, you know, it's not toxic if you said objectively we were better. In that round, OXG was objectively better, but subjectively, I think Mirage probably should have won that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you.
Either way, this is an attacker-sided map, and Yeti's gonna run right in. There's nobody over towards 90. Hear the pitter-patter sound of some of these LMGs going off. Some of these guns. I believe that was Lion's weapon making that sound.
Yeah, with the silencer, yeah, I believe so as well. And that like mini execute with the Sophia stun and Roshan and really gave me like SSG's executed Merc vibes, where Yeti is now Merc and SSG, where he's rushed on in, takes aggressive gunfights. But the thing is, OXG didn't really care about security, so while Mirage they gain map control, they don't really gain anything else with it. No kills, time is ticking down, they take a ton of damage onto Yeti, so was this worth it? Not necessarily, but Surf, he makes up for it, he finds Sweater on the roam.
And there's another first blood for Mirage. It's not long-lived, though, because immediately Yaga trades it back before he himself dies to DP fire on the what would be the main breach where this was Armory Wall. It's not, though. Yeti sustaining some serious damage, too. Could be of critical importance for Mirage, but on Yana, I don't expect he's going to be in the cut and thrust of this round. When you look at the 4 operators still remaining, Lion, Nook, Yana, and Sledge, Yeti can play a little bit more sheltered and safe.
Yeah.
Nobody's holding the case from Mirage either, by the way. There we go.
Oh, they heard you.
There we go. Okay, Surf picked it up. I was going to say, nobody has the objective in mind, Nick.
No, I mean, that happens sometimes, you know, things are just missed and looked over, and Rampy looking for the vert play, could find Neuros a free kill, perhaps inside a bathroom, he just runs almost into the grenade.
Foxay sees it break just next to him, and Newers decides to re-engage. Down goes Rampy. Numbers now even with 30 seconds left. Foxay desperately needing some kills to get in and help the rest of his team. He finds one on the Surf. Diffuser now traded back. DP fire in the very capable hands. Slaughtered from Dream in that same spot that we know Dream loves to play, and OXG locks it out, getting 4 uncontested kills, closing the gap and winning their very first round on defense.
Mirage going for a great swing there from bathroom below. It's shutting down Rampy up above, and it's a huge moment because taking down the Sledge is the healthiest member of the attack inside. It's the 2 frag grenades, the verticality, and if Rampy had found Neuros instead, that would have 4 versus 2 favor in the attack. They could basically just drop down that hatch in bathroom, start establishing down that plant, and that's when the defense starts looking really, really poor, as the last 2 members are kind of on the roam inside of workshop, inside of customs, holding down the exterior angles. There's only really Newers on the side itself. Could have gone either way. I like that OXG is sticking to these dynamic bombs out of Taylor's and Insulation, where you can play across the entire map. Always extend around and up across the map, forcing Mirage to have to make difficult decisions, and also they gotta choose how to spend their time very wisely. And that was one of the biggest problems for them in that previous first attacking round. They spent half the round taking the first room in control. That was security for them, which would have been okay if you're attacking Armory, but on a Taylor's bathroom attack, it's simply not fast enough, and that's why things got a little bit too quick for them, and the gaps were made, and all of a sudden Neuros is exploiting those and getting free kills.
Well, that's the start that you want from this OXG squad.
Certainly.
I am a little surprised that Mirage did not or at least did not appear to drone out Dream, playing over by Customs. Every single time we saw OXG have Dream last alive, he was over towards that stock supply room, he was over towards jail, he was over towards Customs. He was in that part of the map, just sitting there. And yeah, I mean, he's a formidable opponent who's going to have that ult, as you talked about, with 80 bullets, and might be manning the evil eyes, but either way, if you did any of your research, you'd know that he's over there. Now, it's possible that we just missed it.
That's unfortunate.
Sweater safeguarding his own Frostmat. DP Fire walks right into it. Nobody expects
a
Frostmat at the top of East.
No.
Nobody.
Oh boy.
Yeti almost getting flushed out from that same spot. Watching the cam, ensuring he doesn't get spotted, but doesn't want to give his position away as he creeps up closer and closer to Office. Nice flick on the Sweater. And he gets out of there, gets his kill, and gets away. That's all you need at that point.
Yeah, I mean, if you overstay your welcome there, you're going to be met with one or two other defenders, and all of a sudden you've lost the advantage that you just built for yourself. Especially with Valkyrie being played, you don't really know where the enemy has information because Mirage, they're not playing IQ as of yet. So it very well could have been that Yeti, you know, he was found out, but he get away unscathed. So he's a little bit damaged, but he's alive. Slow rounder from Mirage again. Gonna keep the numbers up.
I mean, it's a smart round for Mirage so far, right? I mean, you saw DP Fire go in quickly as Nooks do. He went out quickly, sometimes as Nooks do.
Also true.
But you had follow-up there from Mirage. Take down Sweater in that position. You know he's playing somewhere near Office. And look at all of this free space that Yeti's had, but he runs right into Yaga by Bathroom, looking the wrong way. Yeti got a little bit too close to the bomb site for comfort.
Yeah.
Right as I was saying, it was a smart round.
I was gonna say all of a sudden it wasn't, and then no support either, so no trade, but Rampy.
By the way, look who's over in Customs as Rampy walks right into the middle of the bomb site. Dream is in the same position, but they have no upstairs control. When Yeti got out of that place and DP Fire went down early, you saw Mirage cede control of the top floor. Kansan at least fighting back, eliminating Dream. Again, that player playing over by Customs puts more on the shoulders of these last two players of OXG. Mirage looking for that fifth and crucial round, which would guarantee all 12 rounds should OXG end up winning. That means it's going to be a long haul for them. Yaga being engaged from two separate angles. He's in a tough spot. Mirage walking in, but Yaga needs to pick which one of these two he wants to go for first. He's attempting both, but these might just be half measures that ultimately end up with him getting killed. Good news for OXG. You still got your team captain upstairs. And Kansan is the only member of Mirage with anything going at this moment as everybody else is dead. And Kansan will join them as OXG tie up the game.
Yeah, Mirage's attacks, there are definitely some flaws being shown, and that is the nature, again, of lack of structure, really. On defense, you can play together, say, you know, you come with me, let's go and fight this guy, because you own the entirety of the map when the round starts. But when you're on attack, it's the opposite story. You need to make all the first decisions, all the first moves, and you need to figure out what the setup is and what the right approach is going to be. And it's difficult to build a hierarchy that works where, you know, you have one person making the final calls, but everyone kind of works together to figure out what the landscape looks like. And it just seems like Mirage don't have a single voice making the decisions because they're all scattered across the map with different ideas in mind by the looks of it. No one really had support from teammates in the round. Yeti went in alone, he got the winning kill. Then Yeti alone downstairs in blue, he got killed. The only real thing where there was two people working together was the two members trying to take out York downstairs inside of Bathroom off the bomb side, but they've already lost the advantage at that point. I think if Mirage can simplify their attack, say, let's all come from this side of the map, it could be any side, doesn't matter, and just work our way through the map together. Everyone gets drone work, the trades are there, try and do simple like ABC steps of Rainbow Six Siege. That is a great thing to default to if you're finding yourself just kind of scrambling around the map with no real clear objective. And it looks like that's what Mirage is doing and what they're struggling with. Also, avoid frost traps, because look at that, that's another one of those.
They're setting them up in the perfect place. That's great nook bait. Oh, hello. I am a largely brainless entry player. I like getting into the building as quickly as I can.
No, you did not.
I don't look down whatsoever. What's that? A frost mat? Allow me to meet it. Oh no, my legs! Dude, what are you doing? Use your drones. The story of every ranked game in Plat or around there. Just in case you were curious.
That's a great reenactment, honestly. 10 out of 10 in my book. Gotta aim for the head, Parker. Gotta keep that headshot ratio alive, even at the cost of getting frost-matted on
It's
occasion.
not even about looking down. Use your drone or have somebody use your drone for you. It's the best gadget in the game. Nitro Cell, by the way, expended to take out another set of gadgets. Those were the Selma's mini pocket EMPs used as well to put some holes into this 3-panel wall leading into office. Surf was watching that position as the Selmas do their job. Looked like the Kaida Foxe who'd used that Nitro Cell earlier on and as well used those Electric Claws, gets out of that position. Down he goes. Valcam's being snatched up by the clutch of Rampy as the drone drives around, gets information. It's the first armory defense for OXG.
Yeah.
A bit odd that this comes in so late. First kill is Yeti down. Sweater, the one getting it. That's not the start you want, not from the Ana.
This is the site, by the way.
Surf is in the site. That is correct. He sees one inside of small office. DB Fire is planting. Surf is the only person covering him right now, and Rampy's the one who takes the head off a Dream. 8 players still alive. But oh, what bloodshed happens? The diffuser covered it. Trading out, left and right. But OXG comes out ahead. Cans and DB Fire need to scramble to get into position because Sweater's hopped on the diffuser, and the smug look on his face suggested that he had it. He does not. DP Fire losing his only teammate. 2 players from OXG, but DP Fire in a very advantageous position right now. OXG will need to double up on him. You know exactly where he is. They hear him on the diffuser. DP Fire, can he make it happen? He's missing it. DP Fire, you're missing it. He's outside. DP Fire can't get it done. Shrewdly played by OXG and smartly played as their 3rd round in a row. And perfect defense so far gives them the lead back.
Just like one step ahead from OXG. There's the cheeky diffuse position being outside the door instead of inside. The nice DB Fire, the angle essentially to shut it down. And this all comes down to pretty much planning ahead. DP Fire in the 1v2 had a sort of 20 seconds of safety where he has to think out, okay, what are they going to do? And what do I have to do in response to win the round for my team? And one small mistake or one small thing that he did not see was that they can actually defuse and long arm it from outside the building. So DP Fire played a passive angle, waiting for the defuse sound, when obviously in hindsight, because we know what happened, he should have been holding an aggressive angle to not allow OXG into the defuse position in the first place. But those are things that you're never not going to know exactly how that plays out until it happens, and then it's just simply too late. OXG, the better team when it comes to playing together, structured and synergized-wise. They get the round lead for the first time so far in this match, 5-4 now. They can just go through these bomb site rotations. I mean, they've made a full clean sweep now. Taylor's Ventilation Armory, and then back down to Taylor's. They don't gotta go customs, thank the Lord, because that bomb site is... It's not a thing, let's be honest. Like, no one plays it, and no one wins it if they try.
Electrical, zap. That's a fun fact about these bomb sites, by the way. Coming in courtesy of Jesse Chick.
Oh, thank you, Jesse Chick.
So that Oxygen have not lost the same site twice in the NA League. On defense, of course.
Yeah.
So right now, that's not really a prospect that OXG has to fear. They are perfect on defense, finishing off their rotation in the previous round, starting with Tellers and Bathroom back in their very first defense, following it up with Vents Workshop, and then Armory as well. Again, as you pointed out, unsurprising that, or not very surprising that Customs has not been played.
No. Oh boy.
Not a bomb site that teams really enjoy going to. First 0 of the match showing up. It's in the hands of Rampy. No zeros when it comes to kills, so no pun to be made there.
No.
I was hoping for it. Surf, the first pick on the Sweater. Sweater being involved in a lot of these first duels, as his role does usually make him. However, hasn't necessarily been as good in those first duels as he has been in previous contests. And sometimes you have good days as entry and roamers. Some days you have bad days.
Oh yeah, it's as simple as that. I mean, you can die to wallbangs every round and you know, possibly, and sometimes you get all the wallbangs that you shoot. So, oh, speaking of wallbangs, there's one. But it's a trade, however. So Surf finds Yogg, but Newest takes down DB Fire, so they lose the nerf, but that's about it.
None of those players involved in each other's altercations. They just die at other sides of the map.
Yes. A different kind of trade.
Correct.
But I mean, of course, this favors the Italian side because they had that initial opening kill, so they got the man advantage.
That's the nook to die. I mean, out of all of the operators you have right now, the least utility. Surf is going for another early plant, very early on, but he's going to get swung on quickly. Dream just runs in, takes matters into his own hands, and OXG finds 2 for their trouble. Foxay unable to duel both of the players from Mirage that he sees, but he reduces Rampy to a flashing red light. Kansan still from above. He's got breaches. How funny would it have been if he absentmindedly walked in one of those frost mats? Last 2 players from Mirage dropping in the bathroom. They have the diffuser now, and Kansan will be the one to watch as Rampy's on a single point of HP. Kansan is a read on to the left, but is very vulnerable to the right. He reduces it just to Newers, who's now in a 1v2, and a quad from Newers gets the dream clap on your screen. OXG 4 in a row. They're on match point.
Yeah, and Mirage, again, they go for this early kind of execute where they try and go for a plan that's off pace, that's not going to be read by OXG, but it comes at a big cost. There's not adequate cover for the planter, so he gets shut down immediately, and it puts him into that weird 2 versus 2 situation where they got to go for broke. Both members drop the hatch, try and do the same thing again with better cover this time, but Newers, he didn't advance to the rotate. He was actually staying and waiting for a swing, and it paid off massively. Again, those small decisions that can have a huge impact on those 1 versus 1s or 1 versus 2s once again favors OXG, and they find themselves staring down this match point situation, which they can be very happy about given how well they're defending so far. It's 4 in a row from Mirage when they had the last 4 defending rounds, and it's 4 in a row for OXG to start their defensive half so far.
Side rotation hasn't changed at all. Tellers on rounds 1 and 4 of their defensive half. 2 and 5 are vents. Armory would presumably be where they go should they lose this round for OXG.
Actually, no, because statistically they never lost same bombs twice, so by going isolation again, if they lost, they're guaranteed to win it. So they should not go Armory. Thanks to JCJ Chick, we know that for a fact.
I feel like that's a really bad way to extrapolate what Jesse said stats-wise.
I think it's very accurate. You know, if I was Foxay and I knew that statistically,
you'd be better looking.
I actually would be way better looking. His hair is glorious, by the way. I'm so jealous because mine's bald.
He's a good-looking man.
Yes.
Continue your sentence, by the way.
Sorry, you threw me. I was going to say if I was Foxay, which unfortunately I'm not, that we just established. I would have said, you know what, guys, let's do it again. We never lose the bomb site twice. And then it's one of those like, but then they do, and it's like, it's overtime, you know?
Yeah.
And it's bad. Of course, if you get overtime, you're guaranteed 1 point. And if you're in regulation, you get 3. And if you lose in regulation, you get 0. So, in overtime, for Mirage, even though if they lose in overtime, it's still a small victory for them as they need every single point they can get as they have a single one to their name so far.
Well, Mirage only has, that 1 point thing. I was literally about to queue it up, damn it. Then you just said it. DP Fire and Surf dies Foxay with the run out through the top of East. Okay. Okay.
And good shot as well.
And he had a miserable first half. Yeah. He's now drawn even at 7-7. Can't get cutesy with these next couple engagements because even though you're in a 5v3, it is often quoted as the worst lead in all of Rainbow Six. The amount of times that we see a 5v3 become a 3v3 is impossible to count.
Could it be?
Rampy decided to engage Sweater long range, peeks out in the wrong way. Sweater doesn't know if there's a follow-up. Last map that we saw. M80 wins flawlessly on the final round. OXG have teed up on that as well. This leaves Yeti and Kansan. They have to watch if there's any Capkin traps. Kansan's plotting his advanced Dream in such a ballsy position. Yeti will drop down into customs. Inside of the office. They know exactly where he is. Sweater hitting him with the GG. Getting under the skin of Mirage. 5 players for Yeti to find. Does he get one? No! 2 matches in a row, ending with a flawless round. OXG, excellently done. 5 rounds in a row. They take it 7-4 over Mirage.
Yeah, I mean, 5 rounds in a row is very convincing. It speaks to both how good